So one of the first things that I would like to get into with regard to neck reining is your hand positioning. One thing that I really want to get across is that, especially when you're in the transitioning phase of this and you don't have a horse that is fully understanding everything, your hand is not going to be stationary on these reins. I'm going to constantly be shuffling up and then letting some loose. And you can see, like, even with my hand in the center, I can get her to flex for me, which is something that you're going to want to spend a fair bit of time practicing. The ability to tip your horse's nose into the direction of your turn is step one. It is absolutely paramount. The reason we go to such extremes with the snaffle and the lateral flexion and all of that is so that when you get to this stage, I can just take up a couple of inches of rein and easily tip that horse's nose and prepare them for the turn that I'm about to make. One other thing that I find really critical about setting this up is what I'm doing with my horse when I am riding a snaffle. I'm going to go ahead and just go to pretending like I'm riding this horse in a snaffle real quick and show you the main thing I'm concerned about with regard to how I'm flexing this horse. The majority of the time that I'm asking for bend in my horse, my direct rein hand should be coming more toward my saddle horn or my belly button, right here. I'm going to also begin, as I'm introducing shoulder control to my horse, I'm going to start bringing that rein across and moving against their neck like so. A lot of people are going to be pulling with their hand way out here almost all the time when they're trying to flex their horse. And what that winds up doing in the long run is dulling the signal to actually turn. Okay? So again, a bend or a flex in my horse, my hand should be here. This gives me the ability, now that I'm neck reining, that I can bend and flex my horse and now turn. If I spend all my time with my hand here, I don't have anywhere to go to when I turn. So that setup, when you're in the snaffle, the bend and turn, becomes absolutely critical when you get to this stage of the game. If you've done your homework and you have been riding that way in the snaffle as long as you've been riding the horse, and you rode that way in a transition bit, then when you kind of get up into a bridle bit and you resign yourself to riding with one hand, 90% of your work is already done. Okay, so one other thing that I'm pretty big on when I'm doing this, I want to have a good heavy set of reins. So these are weighted, double ply, stitched reins. Makes a huge difference in how well your horse can feel what you're doing. You can actually push a little bit with these reins. They have that much body in them. Now, if you've ever heard of riding a horse in a box, this is really where the box becomes critical. So with this mare, I want to be able to stop her in the end just on my way and still with a loose rein. So I need to be very conscious of forward and reverse hand positions. This should be a backup. I should never be getting behind this horn. And if likewise, if I'm wanting a long trot, you know, I should have that hand way up there on her neck. Also, for different maneuvers, like for a spin is a forward maneuver, so I need to be here asking her to go into that. I don't need to be back here and trying to get her to spin. Now, if I want to roll back, that's a rearward maneuver, so I am going to be more in this position. So all of those little subtleties and nuances really add to the flavor of how well your horse is going to wind up neck reining. Another thing is about the shuffling of your hands. I had showed you that just a second ago, and I tell you what, baby, if you don't mind, just zoom in on my hands for a second. So all I'm going to do if I need to turn her right is just move that rein up a little bit, and that's way more than I would actually move it, but I'm just showing you the action of how I would do it, and then I can feed it right back out, and I can take up my left rein to tip her nose to the left. Okay, if I am winding up with a pretty good loose rein out there, which I would like, and I'm doing a lot of forward work, I always want to prep a stop with my body and picking those reins up. I don't want to get bad hand position here though. So what I'll do, if I pick my hands up, I sit, put my heels down and all that, and I get no stop, I want to come in here and double grab and take the slack out in that manner. That way this hand, this guiding hand, is never doing something absurd. It's always in this box area. If I need to do more than what I can do with that hand, then I'm going to go to my other hand and help out. On the left-hand side, it's real easy just to curl down and double your rein and get a whole lot shorter rein there. The right-hand side, generally, I'm just going to reach down with my right hand and grab it. And of course, if you're one of those people that rides with the reins in your right hand, the reverse of that. Absolutely critical when you're teaching neck reining that you do shorten up on that inside rein. You need to make every single turn with that horse's nose tipping to the direction before the feet move. If you did nothing on your horse but in the little round pen or the hallway of the barn and you just walked them along, tipped their nose, and then put the rein and turn, and you did that habitually, you would develop a very nice neck reining horse. What most people try to do is they move up into riding one hand. The first thing they want to do is kick their horse off in a lope, slam him into a stop, and do a rollback on him. And you know, you need to do all of that prep work at the walk first. Get where you can just shorten that rein, tip that nose, set up for that turn, and then go get your turn. One of the other things that's pretty important to me with the turns, and turns are really what I work on most when I'm introducing neck reining. I like to just ride around, do a whole bunch of 90-degree turns. Go over there, 90-degree turn, 90-degree turn, 90-degree turn. What I'm really trying to habituate in there is that when I put that, let's say the right side, when I put that right rein against their neck, I'm trying to time that with this right front shoulder. So I would want to do this when that right foot is back and it's fixing to leave the ground, and hopefully if I can time this with that foot leaving the ground, I'm going to get a nice sweep and cross over. And that's what I'm really wanting to do. That's what specifically I want the right rein on her neck to mean, is that the right front foot's going to reach around and cross over, and then of course the reverse on the other side. So anyway, those are a few tips for neck reining. I hope that helps. Okay, so we're going to try to demonstrate a few turns where I've already got my left rein a little bit shortened, so we're going to be doing right hand turns. So again, my outside rein and my outside leg are going to try to get in time with her outside shoulder. We're going to try to teach that rein and that leg needs to cross that foot over. So there, boom. And just one little crossover step in the beginning is all I need. We'll see if we can do that again going that direction. So there, boom. And that wasn't as nice as the first one, but it was all right. You can see I still got a pretty good 90-degree turn out of her. Really, to get a horse to make a nice big turn, all we need to do is put 90-degree turns together. I think people spend too much time trying to spin 9 times, and if you know what a good spin feels like, that's fine. But practicing bad turns doesn't do you or the horse any good. So most people need to spend a whole lot of time working this little exercise right here. So we'll do one to the left. You'll notice I've now kind of reversed. My right rein's a little shorter so I can tip her nose. So we're going to feel for that left front foot, and there. Boom. And a nice little step around right there. She got her hip a little bit looser than I would have liked her to right there, kind of disengaged it with me. This mare does have a tendency to turn on her middle a little bit, which again, with neck reining, do keep in mind, your hand up here should be controlling the front end of the horse. This hand is controlling the shoulders. So getting those shoulders as freed up as you can is big time important. Your feet are going to have a lot more to do with the horse's hind end. But this hand up front is going to be controlling the shoulder. So we'll do another turn to the left. We'll say, boom. Again, wasn't a good one, we'll do a few here. There. 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 Okay. And this mare does, like I said, she tends to want to disengage the hindquarter, turn in this direction. You'll see her kind of swishing her tail. What I'm having to do is push her up forward, both feet in her, and drive her forward to get her engaging that hindquarter again. There, was a little better. Okay. Now I'm going to just take my feet out of her completely and not help her so much with the reins, and we'll see if we have much going on. So no feet. There's a right hand or left hand turn. Here's a right hand turn. And that's with zero help from me. think you can tell when I'm using my feet, she turns much nicer. But that's kind of the whole point of this is getting weaned off and just onto that hand with no help. So, all right, that's been Daniel Dauphin with Dauphin Horsemanship. Hope that helps you out.